Hi guys, I decided to do the role play demonstration, and this is currently in our session number 5. Um, Miss Jackie, she's 35 years old. She has 2 kids, a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old. She suffers with major depression and PTSD. She's already been diagnosed with both disorders, and she's been educated on both as well. For the past few sessions, we have discussed her ABC worksheet, and her homework assignment is to complete a stuck point log. Every time she sees me, we go over those stuck points. Um, the stuck points are basically negative thoughts that tend to get stuck in her head. And we discuss those thoughts to help her process, her trauma. So we are about to get started. Hi, Miss Jackie. How are you doing today?
Hey, how are you doing today, Doc?
I'm doing pretty well. So I was looking at your stuck point log, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot. How you been feeling?
You know, pretty much the same.
Okay. So let's go over the stuck point log, the first one you put down.
Okay.
And what was that?
Just feeling worthless.
Okay. Do you know when you felt that way?
I felt that way for a long time now. Pretty much I was, in high school when I had my first real relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what put me on the path to feeling worthless.
Okay. And what was it? What was you doing when you had that stuck point go off in your head? Like, what was you actually doing? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think I was just sitting on the couch one Friday night, and I just, started thinking and feeling alone and just going down the tunnel and down the road of feeling, not worthless, just worthless.
Okay. Did that trigger your trauma a little bit?
It did. It did. It just started everything back up.
Can you explain?
Well, you know, I look at my kids who are 13 and 15, and then I think about my childhood trauma growing up with my mom and dad. And I think about, when I was their ages, I thought to myself, I don't know why my mom just doesn't leave. I'm never going to put my kids through that. And then I think about my kids and my past relationships that have been domestic relationships and everything that they've been through, even though I know and I said I was going to do better. So that's what got me feeling like, I'm just worthless. I don't even know what to think of myself anymore. Because it just seems like a pattern that I keep repeating, even though I know the signs. I say I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't know if they find me or I find them, but that's my history. It's just men who abuse me and talk down to me and make me feel like I'm just nobody.
I know that you've been single for like 5 years and you have a fear of getting into another relationship.
Yes.
And
Yes.
fear of getting close to men because you're afraid that they will do the same thing, that your ex did to you.
Yes.
When you was in your last relationship, was there any point in your life where you didn't feel worthless?
I feel like in the beginning of the relationship, he showed me one side of him, and then I felt like optimistic in that moment that maybe this relationship had some hope, and I started to get a better feeling and a better consciousness about myself through that.
Mm.
But, after he lost his job and was home and started drinking, I saw those patterns starting all over again. And then I kind of went back down that spiral to this is just who I attract with the worthlessness. I mean, every single time, this is all I ever do is bring home people who are like this. And I just feel like I don't I don't even know what else to do because that's just what I'm gonna always get. Is people who always fall in this pattern.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you feel like your worth determines about how men treat you, or do you feel like your worth depends on how you treat yourself?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell myself that I'm doing, exploring these last 5 years, is trying to find a better self worth in myself. That's why I don't want to get into a relationship, because I want to appreciate me for who I am and what I have to offer the world. But do I have anything to really offer? Is what I sit and ask myself sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Am I even worthy of happiness within myself? Sometimes is what I even sit and wonder.
Mm-hmm.
What is happiness for me? What is it?
And you still trying, you don't really know what happiness is to you?
I don't even know what that feels like anymore,
Mm.
or how I make myself happy.
Okay. Now, when you got that stuck point, we already defined that's a negative thought, right?
Yeah.
How is that a negative thought, Miss Jackie?
Well, I guess again, I'm saying to myself that I'm not worthy, and I don't know what happiness is, and I'll never find it. You know, those are negative thoughts.
Yes. Why are those negative thoughts?
Because I guess you want me to say that I am worthy.
No, I want you to say whatever you want to say.
Well, I don't think I'm worthy. I don't. But I am worthy, and one day I will find happiness.
Okay. So you had that stuck point go through your head. What did you do to get that negative thought out of your head?
I just started saying my self affirmations.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was up? Can you give me an example of some things you said to yourself?
That I am a good person. I am a special individual. I love myself, and I care about my children and my family. And I deserve to be happy, and I am worthy of loving myself and loving others.
Very good. I think that's some nice, good affirmations. How do you feel after you said those things? Did you feel better?
Well, yeah, I did. I just kept saying them and repeating it, just writing down some good things about myself. And I listen to a little bit of uplifting music.
Good. Those are good coping skills you did.
Yeah.
Real proud. And I'm glad that just even for a moment, you didn't feel worthless.
I didn't.
Okay. Now on this sheet, I see you put down another stuck point that you had.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain what that was?
Well, I don't really feel worthy of love.
Hmm. I know that you've been single for 5 years. Do you sometimes feel sad about being single?
Yeah, there's some days I do feel sad.
Okay. I know you said before a lot of your family and friends are in, long-term relationships.
Yeah, they are. Nobody in my family really understands why I just can't find somebody and settle down like everybody else has.
Mm.
You know?
Now, in your past relationships, you discuss how they all consist of being physical abusive
Mm-hmm.
and emotional abusive, right?
Yes.
And how you're afraid to even get close to somebody because you feel like it may end up being the same way.
Yes.
Because you said last session, you think they're one way, and then next thing you know, it turns into a violent, situation.
It's like something just snaps the balance one day. It's almost like I mentally feel blindsided because I don't even know who that person is when the abuse starts to come out, and then once it starts, it just goes downhill. It seems like it goes from verbal, like one comment, and then it just explodes to physical.
What are some of the things that trigger you when you know, trigger you and have you thinking about your past abusive relationships?
Anytime I hear people yelling, like it could just be as simple as somebody in my apartment walking through the breezeway yelling at somebody talking. That sets me off. When people scream at me, that sets me off. Um, Slamming a door, like loud noises, really gets me, jittery and nervous. Kind of feel anxious
Mm-hmm.
at that moment. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I just, I can't, I don't know. Being in crowded places with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to do social activities, because then I feel like I have to put myself out there, and I don't think I'm ready for that.
Okay. Now, going back to your triggers and the fact that you feel, and your start point this week was feeling like you're not worthy of love. Where did that come from?
I've heard it so many times in my past relationships, that it's my fault. I'm hard to love. I want something that's impossible, or I'm asking for a lot. That's just what I've heard for so long.
Okay. And what was you doing when you had that thought come to your mind?
I think I was, thinking of the holidays, how that's a family time,
Mm-hmm.
and how I like for my children to see a full, functional, healthy family,
Mm-hmm.
because I never got to see that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it'll help them break the cycle that I was unable to break from my parents.
Okay.
And that's why I feel like maybe love isn't for me.
Okay. Now, do you feel like that's a negative thought?
Yes.
Why is that a negative thought?
Because I do deserve love.
Why do you think that you deserve love?
Because it's what I desire.
Mm.
And it would make me happy.
Do you believe that everybody deserves love?
Yes. If that's what they want, yes, I do.
And I know that we have discussed your religious beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that you are a Christian, right?
Yes.
Do you believe that God loves you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that love is God?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Have you prayed about, finding that love that you desire?
No.
Why not?
Everybody keeps telling me that I just need to work on me and focus on me and not focus on that. So that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years, and thinking that God will intervene and He'll let me know when it's my time.
Do you feel like you love yourself?
Can I be honest with you?
You sure can.
Some days I don't.
Okay.
Some days are better than others, and I do love myself. Some days I don't love myself. I don't love the choices that I made, situations that I've been in.
Now, what did we say in the past sessions when you start thinking, about past situations? We discussed the serenity prayer, right?
Yes.
And how, the past
I
is a
cannot
past.
change.
Yeah.
And I have to accept those things that I cannot change and move forward
Mm-hmm.
to things that I have control of.
Right. And remember last session we had a breakthrough because you finally said what? That you did not deserve to be abused.
I do. I remember that.
Do you still feel that way?
Yes. I do. I did not deserve to be abused.
Yeah. And you also said, I didn't do anything to cause me to be abused. It was just they had a problem.
Right.
Okay. So how do you feel now that you have processed that negative thought?
I feel better.
It's a one day at a time type
Right.
situation.
Right. Right. One
Just
day at a time.
yeah, it seemed like you just had a lot of stuff. You had two major stuck points this week, and I'm glad that you was able to get through them.
Yes.
Using your healthy coping skills. I'm so happy to hear that. Okay. So on the sheet, I got another stuck point that you put down. What was that?
On my ABC sheet?
No, on your stuck point log, you put down another negative thought that you had this past week.
Okay. That I don't deserve to be in a relationship?
No.
Which one was that?
That was last week. Another negative thought you had. You said you felt worthless. And you felt like you didn't deserve love. And then you also said that, you started thinking that maybe you didn't deserve to be happy.
Yeah. I definitely said that.
What was you doing when you had that negative thought come to your mind?
Well, a friend of mine was having a get together. And she was like, bring your plus one, bring your plus one. I just told her I'm not going to go. I don't want to go to that. She was like, girl, why you don't ever want to do nothing fun? I was like, because, I don't even want to go out. I don't feel like going out. And I was really thinking to myself, I don't deserve to go. Everybody else is going to be there with couples, and I'll just stay home and not make everybody else miserable. I didn't deserve that piece of fun and happiness with them.
Now, what made you feel like you didn't deserve it?
Because I just felt like everybody else was probably going to be there with their significant other, and I'm just going to be coming in strolling by myself. Janet by herself again. So
yeah. So you end up staying home?
Yeah, I did.
Now, when you had that negative thought, first of all, is that considered a negative thought?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Why is that considered to be a negative thought?
Because I can go places and I can have fun and be happy and be okay by myself.
Okay. What did you do when you had that negative thought to get out of it?
I think I just read my Bible and prayed and did my serenity prayer, took a bath, and I went to bed.
Did that help?
I woke up feeling different and better than I did the night before.
Okay. So maybe that's one more thing we could add to your goal list, Enjoying time with family and friends solo,
Yeah.
As far as relationship goes, I think it's also important to build that relationship with yourself. Since you done been through so much, I know you say your self-love has been not the best and you struggle to love yourself. So right now you just want to take time to get to know you over again and love you completely before dating, right? So one of the things you can do is do things with family and friends, but also do things by yourself. How does it feel when you do things by yourself?
I have fun.
You do? Okay.
I do. Like, sometimes I get a little bit nervous or anxious because I'm by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But once I get going in the activity, I have a good time. And there's usually somebody else there by themselves too. In some kind of way, we are like magnets, and we end up enjoying the activity together.
Good. Okay. So that's a good. So maybe we could add that on the goal list as well.
I like that one.
Yeah, to do something for you and to enjoy your own self right now.
Okay.
Now, one thing that we really are trying to, process, and we're at session number 5. I think we're doing pretty well though. Is process the fear of getting close to others, because I know that you have that fear not just with males in regards to relationships, but males in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
The last time we talked, we discussed when your coworkers, you know, said something to you,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of raised his voice, and you didn't like it,
No.
and it had you triggered because
Mm-hmm.
you started thinking about your last boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what's been going on with that situation.
Well, I I did address it with the coworker like you suggested that I do,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually apologized because he said he has a military background and he didn't realize that his yelling was offensive to some people.
Mm.
And I just told him that it makes me very anxious and it almost scares me sometimes to be in the workplace and hear him yell like that. And he's really been making a conscious effort to work on that.
Good. When he yelled at you, because we didn't get a chance to really process it completely.
Mm-hmm.
When he yelled at you, how did it make you feel?
I felt like a little girl in a hole who had no control, and it scared me.
What did it remind you of?
It reminded me of my dad yelling at my mom in the next room,
Mm-hmm.
and me having no control and feeling that feeling like I felt in my stomach when I was a little girl.
Okay. And that is something we're dealing with right now, right? Trying to process those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you feel when you was able to confront him to let him know how you really felt? Because in the past, that's one thing you wasn't able to do, right?
I felt strong
Mm.
and I felt confident because I didn't know that I could do that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that I didn't know that I had that power within me to even talk to him, like, to tell him how I was feeling. So I felt really good, and when we had a resolution with it, I felt even better to say that I could assert myself in certain situations.
Mm-hmm. And this goes back to our ABC worksheet, remember? Because the yelling activated activated the whole scene was the
Mm-hmm.
yelling. But then you thought about it and you didn't get upset and get mad. You processed it and you went back to him, you asked him, talked to him, and they come find out it was just because he's from the military. He didn't know that it was a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And then y'all end up talking about it, and he said he'll watch how he speaks to you next time. That's good progress, because in the past you told me you would just flip out and you would just leave,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't do that this time.
No. I used to feel like I had to defend myself. Like if I didn't defend myself, his yelling was going to go to another level and then turn physical because that's what usually happens.
Yeah. So how does it feel to know that you actually thought about not just how you felt, but you also took in consideration what was going on with him as well?
I feel like I opened up some new senses for me
Mm-hmm.
to not always be on the defensive and ready to pounce on somebody, and maybe kind of take a step back and get some understanding from people.
All right. Good. That's great. That's part of our ABC worksheet that we had completed. So I'm glad we was able to process that. So how do you feel knowing that we are actually working and we are progressing?
I feel like therapy's working for me.
Yeah.
You know, and every day I'll just use the tools in my toolbox to become a better and stronger person.
Yes. Just remind yourself when something happens that activate your trauma, because it's part of who you are. Take a step back and just look at different perspectives, right? Before you act. You know. And I think you did a great job with the coworker. So if he slips up again, you'll be like, okay, oh, I remember now. He's in the military, and he probably just forgot.
It's not personal.
It's not personal, exactly. How does it make you feel knowing that with that situation? But there's probably other situations in the past that you have, like you said, got real defensive, took it personal,
Mm-hmm.
and then realized it wasn't personal at all.
Mm-hmm. True.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're doing a great job. I'm gonna ask you something because we still have 5 more minutes in the session.
Mm-hmm.
So with the stuck thoughts, let's talk about your coping skills, because you use some great coping skills. You said you got stuck in your thoughts. You did affirmations. You read your Bible. You prayed. And we got the list going on real good right now. Is there anything else you think helps when you start having those negative thoughts?
I like to sing and, write down some good things about myself instead of focusing on the negative thought.
Good. Now, affirmations, are they pretty much written down in your house, or you got them everywhere around you?
Well, in my bathroom, in my bedroom, they're all around the mirror.
Okay.
I write little post-it notes and quotes that I hear sometimes throughout the day. And then sometimes when I'm just meditating to myself, I write things down as well. Things that come to me about myself.
Okay. Do you feel like I know beginning when I first met you, you pretty much said that you didn't love yourself at all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're progressing a little bit as far as loving yourself again?
I feel like every day I learn something new that I can love about myself.
That's awesome. What have you learned since, what are some things you have learned about yourself that you do love?
Mm-hmm. I learned that I'm strong.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that I can communicate and get my point across without exploding.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that I have the power within myself to overcome my negative thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that God is giving me strength daily to be who I am because He already knows who I'm going to be. Mm-hmm. And I know that I love my children and that I'm put on this earth to guide them and to help them become better humans through God's love and through my love.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's great to hear. Now, one more thing I want to ask you. As far as your trauma, right, when you're getting triggered, are you learning to also use the ABCs and take a step out before you react?
Yes.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that, because I know that's one of the things you want to work on as well. When you get triggered, and you get triggered, it can happen anytime, any place. But taking a step aside before you act is the key that we're working on. All right. I really enjoyed this session with you. I want you to continue working on your stuck log worksheet. And in this session, we'll talk about those as well and process some more. That sounds pretty good?
Sounds great.
All right. Well, I hope you have a great day, and it was nice seeing you.
Thank you, Doc.